안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕코입니다. 일요일 아침이에요. 오늘 출근하는 날입니다. 날씨 너무 좋네요. 운동할게요. 방금 이 영상 찍기 전에 스트레칭 조금이랑 스쿼트 조금 했습니다. 폼룰러는 못해서 폼룰러를 하도록 하겠습니다. 햇살이 너무 좋으니까. 저희 집에서 살고 있는 유일한 생명체입니다. 햇살밖에 해줘야 돼. 아이고. 지금 운동할 때 CNN이죠.
I think it was part of his success and part of his secret of what he did, and it was a couple things. Larry had no agenda. So a lot of times somebody in this business will say, "Oh my gosh, we got this, we got this big get, and we're gonna, we're gonna get the news out of him." Larry never approached any interview with, "I've got to get this out of a guest." So he had no agenda, but he also, wanted to make sure, and he always would teach this with anybody asking him: keep your questions short. Don't ask long questions. If he heard somebody on the air asking a long question, he would just like, listen to that. All he had to do was say what, why. It was very short. And the other thing is he would say is listen. Listen to your guest. Listen to what they're saying so you can react. So his reactions. I mean, he really never was at a loss for thinking like, what should I ask now? And I think the other thing that made this show really special was on.
Seems like we lost Wendy there, but she was just talking about all the years she spent working with Larry King as his executive producer and just what made him so talented and such a success. And one of those is making sure his questions were short and sweet, that he was big on that. And Wendy, thank you so much for coming on. Sorry we lost you there. But through the years, when a celebrity passed away, Larry King could always rise to the occasion by perfectly capturing that person's spirit and impact on the world. And it's surreal to think that tonight we must try to rise to the occasion for him. CNN President Jeff Zucker sums it up like this: "We mourn the passing of our colleague Larry King. The scrappy young man from Brooklyn had a history-making career spanning radio and television. His curiosity about the world propelled his award-winning career in broadcasting, but it was his generosity of spirit that drew the world to him. We are so proud of the 25 years he spent with CNN, where his newsmaker interviews truly put the network on the international stage. From our CNN family to Larry's, we send our thoughts and prayers and a promise to carry on his curiosity for the world in our work." And then there's Ted Turner, the founder of CNN, who captures the magnitude of this loss, saying, "Waking up to the news of the passing of Larry King felt like a punch to the gut. Larry was one of my closest and dearest friends, and in my opinion, the world's greatest broadcast journalist of all time. If anyone asked me what are my greatest career achievements in life, one is the creation of CNN, and the other is hiring Larry King. Like so many who worked with and knew Larry, he was a consummate professional, an amazing mentor to many, and a good friend to all. The world has lost a true legend." Well, from his desk, Larry King turned the spotlight on countless people, including presidents, celebrities, athletes, and movie stars. And all the while, his star shone just as brightly. So long, Larry King. Stay with us. In just a moment, it will be 9 p.m. Eastern, Larry King's Old Time slot, and CNN's Anderson Cooper will host a special tribute to our colleague, mentor, and friend. The King Up Talk, Remembering Larry King, starts after a quick break. And thank you so much for joining me this evening on the premiere of my new show. I'm Pamela Brown. I'm going to see you again tomorrow night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern.
created a smartphone-based retinal imaging device, an accessible tool that would help doctors to pick up problems that are causing preventable blindness. My name is Sheng Hong. I'm an eye doctor, and I'm the founder of Orthodox Eye Care. A lot of primary care providers do not have expensive equipment to look at the retina. Most of our technology that we've created is an open source technology. You can 3D print it locally and assemble it within hours. Since our inception in 2014, we've had more than 50,000 downloads of more than 180 countries. That's what made it important for us, to be able to touch the life of not just the ones closest to us physically. We have a new generation of doctors that were inspired by what we do.
Across Africa, businesses are working together like never before. All new on CNN, Connecting Africa.
Join me, Eleni Jokas, as we crisscross the continent to show you how new connections between people, places, and projects are revolutionizing commerce in Africa.
All new Connecting Africa on CNN, in association with Afreximbank.
A mask can say a lot about the person who wears it. But even more about the person who doesn't.
I'm Jim Bitterman in Paris, and this is CNN.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. I'm excited to let you know that my digital show Full Circle is back. You can watch every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 6 p.m. live, Eastern Time, or anytime on demand. And to make sure you never miss a show, you can get alerts on every episode via the CNN app. I'll see you then.
Let's get after it. Cases are still going up. This virus has enormous capabilities. The federal government's quiet on too much.
Black lives do matter.
Too many people are getting the infection. Global Crime Time, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN.
We live in an unpredictable environment. My show brings you the latest news and top news makers.
Aman Paul, Tuesday to Saturday on CNN.
아이고.
I'm Anna Stewart in the city of London, and this is CNN.
Lincoln, divided we stand.
The following is a CNN special report.
When I hear people say that I'm softball, I've never understood what softball means. I try to ask very good questions. My role is to not to make a guest uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable if I make them uncomfortable. You don't learn a lot if if you're confrontational. It's exciting. Why did you do this? Well, if someone points a finger at you and says, why did you do this? Guarantee you will not learn why he did this. You will not learn it. So I learned a long time ago that the best way to be is really curious.
He was the king of talk.
Who came up with the bunny? Do you miss it? Was it embarrassing?
Hello, Larry. Nice to have you here.
Do you know the Dalai Lama well? What is it like to be shot? How do you handle tabloids? The one thing you didn't answer is why. Was it true that you once thought of taking your own life? Why do you have one name?
Hold on.
From Brando, Broncos,
O.J. Simpson is in that car.
to Liza with a Z. That's right. Liza Minnelli, David Guest.
Train wreck.
Train wreck. I didn't want to say it, but it was. Behind that mic, those specs, those iconic suspenders, he was the TV legend who hosted CNN's Larry King Live for a quarter of a century. Do you consider the Frank Sinatra interview the best interview you've done?
From the minute you step out into that spotlight, you got to know exactly what you're doing.
What comes to mind when you think of Monica Lewinsky? Are there ever times you can't come up with a question for somebody?
They weren't fair. We've made
Let me finish now. I'll let you.
Excuse me.
From political to personal, Heather Mills McCartney takes off her leg.
Well, that's what you call good risk taking. I take risks.
He had a career so rich, so deep, he saw it all.
When someone says Larry King, what comes to mind is always fun in a hotel room.
Should reporters be invented?
Get into a hotel and you go, yes, King's on.
I just love the way he dresses. I wouldn't do it, but man, do those suspenders look good on television.
He's interested in what you have to say. If he isn't, he's a hell of a good actor.
Larry has a way of getting things out of you in a nice way.
It's effortless with him. I think it's the suspenders.
Larry King does not need an introduction. He's a big star. Bigger than most of us, really.
From Hollywood's Walk of Fame to Miami's Golden Beaches, Larry's 60 years of broadcasting began right here.
It was May 1st, 1957. WAHR, Miami Beach. Always wanted to be in radio.
That childhood dream became reality at WAHR, but not until the 23-year-old gave up a bit of himself.
And he calls me in, a gentleman, Marshall Simmons, dear Marshall Simmons, and he says, well, you ready to go, Larry? I said, yes. Okay, what name are you going to use? I said, what do you mean? So you can't use Zyker. It's too ethnic. He said, let's pick another name. I said, shh. So he had the Miami Herald open, and there was an ad for King's Wholesale Liquors, Washington Avenue. And he said, how about Larry King?
Lawrence Harvey Zeiger now had a new job and a new name, Larry King. All he had to do now was do what he does best, talk.
I fade the music, nothing comes out, nothing. I fade the music, I bring it up, I bring it down, I bring it up, and I said to myself, you're not going to make it. You don't have the guts. You can't get through this. You're scared to death. Marshall Simmons kicks open the door to the studio and says, this is a communications business, damn it. Communicate. And I turned on the mic. Good morning. My name is Larry King. That's the first time I've said that.
It was the beginning of a legend, a broadcasting dynamo who talked to anyone.
Occasionally, somebody would be scheduled for an interview with Larry and for whatever reason didn't show up. And we then went into the emergency mode. We'd just literally go out in the street on A1A and grab the next person who was coming down the street saying, hey, you want to be on the radio? And they'd look at you, like you're crazy.
On the radio, in the newspapers, bylines, headlines, Mr. Miami was everywhere, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Don Rickles.
He was doing a disc jockey show, and two waiters and one Cuban were listening.
Joan Rivers.
Not every Brooklyn Jew likes every Brooklyn Jew. We just got lucky.
Larry befriended rising movie stars like Anne Margaret.
I met Larry in 1963. I was doing a publicity tour for Bye Bye Birdie.
Alan Alda.
Oh, the first time Larry interviewed me, we were both starting out.
And legends like the great honeymooner himself, Jackie Gleason. Gleason had a nose for bright young talent like Larry and promised him his first big get. Frank Sinatra. There was nobody bigger. And for a young local radio talk show host, an almost impossible booking. Could Gleason really deliver?
Now, the radio station is going to run an ad in the Miami Herald, and they called me in. You know, they said, we've